Good evening to Professor Dr. Abdul Manaf and my fellow friends. We are from Group 14, FAB5. Today we would like to present Strategy Audit Report for Advanta Berhad. Here I would like to introduce my group members. My group leader is Nurmadia binti Mahmud and other group members are Nur Arina binti Aidrus, Nur Hidayah binti Bakri, myself, Madhutarni Arivalagan, and Nur Aina binti Hasbullah. Now I will pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. My name is Nur Aina binti Hasbullah 2649-3. Now I will be presenting our acknowledgement. So we would like to express our special thanks of gratitude to our lecturer, Prof. Nadia Dr. Abdul Manaf bin Buhari, as well as our team members, Madihah, Arina, Matu, Daya, and Aina, who gave full commitment and cooperation to finish this assignment. Secondly, we also want to express gratitude to who have directly and indirectly to give us the idea and know-how in completing this report, especially our fellow friends in class Group J, who always give their best in the class. And lastly, we also faced a few challenges while completing this report, but with little help and there from people surrounding us, we can finish the report in time, and hopefully it will reflect our hard work in getting excellent in this subject. That's all. Thank you.
For table of content, 1 we have executive summary, 2nd we have strategies, problems or challenge, and then we have external force, internal force, financial analysis and SWOT analysis. Continue with IFAS, EFAS, SFAS table, and then strategies, recommendation and also solution, and then lastly we have conclusions.
For schedule of presentation, Nurul Hidayah represents slide number 9, 47 to 54 and 61, while me myself Nur Arina represents slide number 11 to 15 and 63 to 64. Nurul Aina represents slide number 70 to 20, 55 to 57, 59 and 61. Nur Madihah represents slide number 22 to 30, 60 and 70 to 71. Matu Tarani represents slide number 32 to 45 and 65 to 68.
So this is our list of references in completing the strategy audit report, which are including our main references, which is Advanta Berhad Annual Report 2020. So next, here is our appendix 1 of WhatsApp conversation in our subgroup 14 group chat until 30 November 2021. This is on 26 October, 28 October, 29 October, 9 November, 19 November, 29 November, and 30 November. So for the appendix 2, we have our meeting on first meeting of discussion on WebEx on 29 October 2029. And for appendix 3, we have also meet on WebEx on SFAS discussion on 19 November 2021. For appendix 4 is our Turnitin screening report in our main group of Group J. For appendix 5 is our comments and recommendation and suggestions from our lecturer, Dr. Abdul Manaf, to improve our report before the final submission. For appendix 6, we have report on progress on early checking of audit report and report it on the main group of Group J. For appendix 7, we have attacked the Turnitin screening of our strategy audit report. And for appendix 8, we have attacked the website and homepage of Advanta Berhad. And I think that's all from us. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Hidayah binti Bakri and my matric number is 264489. Okay, today I'm going to explain about executive summary. Okay, for executive summary, regarding the health issue of COVID-19, Aventa Berhad Company become one of the companies that become popular since Aventa Berhad was a company in health and care industry. Okay, Aventa Berhad started their business in 2003 at Kota Baru, Kelantan and now running their company in Petaling Jaya, Selangor. Being one of the local companies that success and survived during a pandemic, Aventa Berhad ran their business by manufacturing medical equipment and device. Okay, Aventa Berhad has stated that during the health issue of the COVID-19, the demand for their product, especially personal protection equipment (PPE), increased rapidly and positively impact their performance when the sale exceeds their expectation. Continue with the excellent achievement of the company performance, Aventa Berhad came one with the statement of their future strategies by stating that they need to have a fast deliver product with the lowest inventory. Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Hidayah binti Bakri and my matric number is 264489. Okay, today I'm going to explain about executive summary. Okay, for executive summary, regarding the health issue of COVID-19, Aventa Berhad Company become one of the companies that become popular since Aventa Berhad was a company in health and care industry. Okay, Aventa Berhad started their business in 2003 at Kota Baru, Kelantan and now running their company in Petaling Jaya, Selangor. Being one of the local companies that success and survived during a pandemic, Aventa Berhad ran their business by manufacturing medical equipment and device. Okay, Aventa Berhad has stated that during the health issue of the COVID-19, the demand for their product, especially personal protection equipment (PPE), increased rapidly and positively impact their performance when the sale exceeds their expectation. Continue with the excellent achievement of the company performance, Aventa Berhad came one with the statement of their future strategies by stating that they need to have a fast deliver product with the lowest inventory.
Hi, my name is Nur Arina binti Idrus, matric number 264480. So I will present the strategy issues or problem or challenge that we found in Adventa Berhad. Basically, there are 5 strategic issues that we able to identify. The first one is supply disruption. So Adventa Berhad business provide a wide range of product. So material supply is really important for the company's operation. Besides, the company also acquire some of their material from overseas. But the presence of COVID-19 or the pandemic has effect in global material supply shortage. So it has disrupt the material supply needed by the company and affecting the production process. The second strategy issues is on employees' performance. So some functional department of the company has lost its functionality and significant in the current situation. So to safeguard their company and protect their employee, the company decided to retrain their marketing and sales employee on the new business environment of distance or virtual meeting. But the retrain might have affect the employees' adaptation toward the change and can lead towards demotivated work dissatisfaction and decrement in employees' performance. The third strategic issue is inventory management problem. So the sales of the company were not as what they expected. It is because the sale patterns was declining. Moreover, with the imposed restriction and lockdown by the company, so many of the company's product or inventory that was not sold has meet their expiry date, and it has disrupted the inventory management at the warehouse. So many unsold product was compiled at the warehouse and that will be affecting the efficiency and effectivity of their business operation. The fourth strategy issues is change in government restriction. So the government has imposed new restrictions and policies in business operation to prevent the spread of the virus. And Adventa Berhad need to follow the permissible business operating hours, comply with the capacity of employees according to the restriction, and this change in government restriction has affected the company's performance and production. And the last one is the lack of financial resources for business transition. So the company has decided to drop business segment that have long gestation time to focus. And they also want to focus on the new medical trend and industry preference for fast delivery and low inventory product. Besides, they also want to focus on technology and information driven business. But to run the business transition, they need a huge amount of money. Moreover, they want to focus on technological and information-driven business. But according to the annual report um, at, at the end of 2020, the company has been incurring net business losses. Hence, it will give a challenge for them to implement the business transition smoothly. So that is all for the strategic issues for Aventa Berhad. I'll pass the floor to Nur Aina to continue the presentation.
Now I will continue with the external forces. The step analysis is used by managers and analysts to discover external factors that can give significant impact on a company. STEP represents social, cultural, technological, economic, ecological, and political legal factors. Firstly, social cultural. These represent the characterize the society and cultural current state. Considering society is the most important factor that the company must continuously observe. This factor may have a significant impact on the company's strategic plan. Secondly, technological. It's a communication, transportation, energy, fashion, rules, innovation, automation, and product life cycle include within the technological aspect. Third is economic. National interest rate and fiscal policy are influenced by economic conditions, as well as consumer purchasing power and expenditure patterns. These elements include demand-driven GDP, interest rate, currency rate fluctuation, inflation rate, tax policy, and so on. Fourth is ecological. Environmental legislation, pollution, waste management and disposal, such air and water, energy saving technology, and society attitudes toward equality. And lastly is a political legal process. It's a political content, political stability, state legislation, state interference, and legal clarity are all aspects that should be considered under political legal process. Moving to the protocol process is a model that is usually used by a company in order to create the strategy and analyze for their benefit of business operation. The protocol process elements include which is firstly threat of new entrants, second is a substitute product, third is entry barrier, fourth is a bargaining power of supply, and lastly bargaining power of buyers. Threat of new entrants is a fresh entrant offer new capacity, a desire to win market share and significant resources to a sector. Second is a substitute product, which is a product that appears to be unique yet fulfill the same function as another. Third is entry barrier, which is an obstacle that makes it difficult for a business to enter a market. Fourth is the bargaining power of supply, which is a buyers have an impact on a sector because they can drive down costs, bargain for better quality or more services, and pit competitors against one another. And lastly is the bargaining power of buyers, which is customer capacity to negotiate lower costs, demand higher quality, and place competitors against each other. Now I will explain more about all the protocol process elements. Firstly is the threat of new entrants. Which a new entrant will eventually lower the profitability of existing business in the industry. Therefore, during the pandemic COVID-19 crisis, Adventa Berhad will have to compete with the new entries in the steel industry such as healthcare. Shaker is an entry barrier, which is a barrier to make to market entry. It's a barrier to market entry exists in the healthcare industry for a variety of reasons, including difficulty in understanding the operation and also the risk aversion. That is a substitute product. In order to meet the state economic needs, a substitute product requires a new technique, such as technology, resources, or other environmental variables. In the case of healthcare, the technology utilized for medical equipment such as PPE suit and other medical devices will be substituted. What is a bargaining power of buyer? The efficiency with which consumer, which is patient, can force price down is what buyer power is all about. The level to which the consumer has cost control is determined by the number of clinics in the marketplace, the number of consumers, and the frequency with which they purchase. Lastly is the bargaining power of supply. When supply power is high, buyers of a specific product or services are less likely to shop around from the other offer, resulting in the less downward market pressure. As related to the Adventa Berhad, the company has manufactured and produced medical equipment supplied by themselves. Therefore, the company having the benefit where the company does not need to compete and switch the supply as the cost is very as it include the expensive cost. Hi, so I will continue for the internal forces in Adventa Berhad. So Adventa Berhad was established in 2003 and is one of the Malaysian holding company that listed on Bursa Malaysia under the main market. So Adventa Berhad is a company that works in the management of companies and enterprises industry and is based in the Petaling Jaya, Selangor. Products that the company offer are healthcare products and medical products. So the Adventa Berhad corporate family consists of 8 companies including Sun Healthcare Sdn Berhad, Electron Beam Sdn Berhad, Luzinsia Sdn Berhad, and PTM Progress Trading and Marketing Sdn Berhad are the Adventa Berhad subsidiaries. So next we move on to the Adventa Berhad type of company and industry. So being one of the investment holding company in Malaysia, Adventa Berhad has been engaged in manufacturers and distributes medical items and machines for the healthcare industry. Initially, the company focused on the investing and manufacturing the rubber gloves, especially in surgical glove in the glove making business, while many of the glove maker company was focused more on the examination or the household gloves. In fact, the surgical gloves have strong entrance barriers owing to highly demanding regulations as the users are frequently in touch with blood, whereas the examination gloves are solely used for the skin contact. Therefore, the Adventa Berhad now has become one of the public limited company or public health company and listing on the Bursa Malaysia. As the business expands, the Adventa Berhad provides various types of surgical and examination gloves such as latex surgical power-free, synthetic, and microsurgery. Besides, it's also diverse to non-glove products such as airway management, feeding and drainage tubes, syringe and needles, and hemodialysis disposals. Specifically, the company focused on several segments such as the healthcare goods, sterilization provider, home dialysis product, and corporate services. Thus, in healthcare product division, the company acts as the manufacturer, distributor, and trader of healthcare products to clients. As a sterilization product, the company provides industrial and commercial sterilization services, as well as storage and handling services. Meanwhile, the home dialysis goods and services division provide home dialysis products and services for the treatment of end-stage renal disease, and the corporate division is responsible for the providing group-level corporate services, treasury activities, and management consulting to the subsidiaries. So we move on to the vision statement of Adventa Berhad. So Adventa Berhad aspires to be the market leader in the medical glove manufacturing sector, as well as to give the finest goods and possible services to its valued clients. So the strategic plan that can be seen in Future Strategy in Annual Report 2020 align with the company's vision in leading the 2020 as it marks the beginning of the pandemic and many people suffered from it, especially in the medical and healthcare industry. So as the company had evaluated the problems and issues faced during the outbreak, the company decided to also boost self-manufacturing to lessen the shortage in supply. The company had opted to exit the dialysis industry since the core strategy is no longer aligned with the company's new long-term vision. So as a result, the company increased its reliance on its strengths in supply chain management and product development, particularly in the medical sector. So next, we look at the mission statement of Adventa Berhad. So in the company's mission statement, we can find their purposes, seek and what actions needed to serve the customers. So Adventa Berhad wants to maintain high customer and supply intimacy. So to achieve this mission, Adventa Berhad provides excellent products and services to their customers as well as provides extraordinary business support to their suppliers. Also, environmentally friendly. Adventa Berhad has an environmental friendly policy in their company. The company protects the environment through production using environmental friendly materials as well as improve their production process through innovation. Next is objective. The company's investment objective is to provide a platform for medium to long-term investment in domestic, regional and international high growth business. So the main concern is the company in sustainability development as their main objective to constantly give back a greater values to all stakeholders and also to protect investors from the short-term economic volatility and also focus on long-term sustainability, technical superiority and regional expansions. The company also come up with a new initiative through its subsidiary, which is Sun Healthcare, in planning broadening the business into the nutraceuticals market, distributing high-quality, innovative, and well-proven health supplements from True Life Sciences, a well-known local brand. Moreover, in the hope that the company can enhance its services and products as well as can adapt new changes, the company has lined up several targets to achieve in future, including equip higher technologies in healthcare industry, adapt in Industry 5.0 with affordable product for customers, and offer many education opportunities for future students. Next, we take a look at the board of directors in Adventa Berhad. There are 5 board of directors, including Mr. Edmond Chia Swee Ling, age 66, presently as chairman of the company. Mr. Edmond was ordained as board of director in Adventa Berhad since 9th August 2004. On top of that, he is currently served on the board of NILEX Malaysia Berhad and Acorn Berhad. He is also a member of MAKL Mutual Berhad Investment Committee and a director. So Mr. Low Chin Guan, age 61, was elected as one of the members of board of directors of Adventa Berhad on 12 April 2004 and currently serves as managing director of the company. Also, Mrs. Kwek Siu Leung, age 54, was selected to the board of Adventa Berhad and currently serves as executive director of the company. Next, we have Mr. Toh Seng Tong, age 62, selected as board member of Adventa Berhad on 10 May 2004. Presently, he also a board of member of Latitude 3 Holdings Berhad and Grand Hoover Berhad. Datuk Dr. Norarisah binti Haji Muhammad, age 73, was appointed to the board of Adventa Berhad on 8 November 2005. So interestingly, Datuk Norarisah had experiences serving in public sector from 1972 to 1988 before joining the private sector. On top of that, she also serves on the board of directors of 3 public companies, include Excel Force MSC Berhad, MYEG Services Berhad, and Latitude 3 Holdings Berhad. So for executive in top management of company, Mr. Low Ching Wan currently serves as managing director of the company and also a member of the remuneration committee. He is the major shareholder of the company. So as one of the key personnel in company's foundation, he heavily involved directly in product development, especially in technological directions, as well as overseas long-term planning, corporate development, investment opportunities, mergers, and key members recruitment for the group. Mrs. Kwek Siu Leung currently serves as Executive Director of the company. So, as an associate member of the CIMA and MIA, she has senior experience in professional sector, includes statutory and regulatory reporting, financial planning, costing and forecasting, taxation, manager skills, and system development in a variety of fields. Thus, currently she is in charge of the accounting and finance department's overall management and operations in Adventa Berhad. So we look at the organizational chart in Adventa Berhad. So Mr. Lau Ching-guan as Managing Executive Director for the company that lead all the operations and involved directly in company planning, and Mrs. Kwek Siu Leung as Executive Director for Financial that led the accounting and finance department for the company as a whole. So Adventa Berhad is possess a functional structure of organization chart, which on the top of it, it has board of directors of Adventa Berhad, and below is managing director and executive director. This functional structure is suitable for company like Adventa Berhad because it can focus on their goals for each department. Also, the employees will have their clarity on their roles in department in working towards their goals, because each of the department goals must reflect the company goals for a long term. So in Adventa Berhad, the long-term objective is to protect investors from short-term economic volatility, focus on long-term sustainability, technical superiority, and regional expansions. So it must reflect on the new initiative and future hopes set by the top management.
Now I will continue to the part financial analysis. To analyze the financial performance of Adventa Berhad, here we have conducted three types of financial analysis, namely horizontal analysis, vertical analysis, and financial ratios analysis. Horizontal analysis. The horizontal analysis for Adventa Berhad compares the financial statement items for the year 2020 to the financial statement items for the year 2019. Based on the horizontal analysis of Adventa Berhad statement of financial position, the company reported a decrease in cash and bank balances by 3,136,252 ringgit in 2020. This reveals that the company had a significant amount of cash outflows than cash inflows. Since the company's short-term loans and borrowings have decreased by 66.6%, it might use its cash and bank balances to pay a portion of its short-term obligations, resulting in a decline in the cash and bank balances. Adventa Berhad would benefit from making early loan payments because it would minimize the amount of interest owed over time. Moreover, in 2020, the trade and payables account increased by 6,401,586 ringgit. This also indicates that company use credit rather than cash to make purchases. The credit purchases seem to be risky since it will impair Adventa Berhad's ability to pay its invoices when cash flow is limited. The company should budget ahead for inventory purchases in order to allocate a significant portion of its cash flow to the purchases. Based on the horizontal analysis of Adventa Berhad's statement of comprehensive income, Adventa Berhad reported a significant number of operating losses in both years. This implies that Adventa Berhad incurred more expenses than revenues in both years. Among the expenses incurred, the selling and marketing expenses increased drastically by 381.26%. This shows that the company spent more on selling and marketing expenses, resulting in loss for the year. The company should focus on digital marketing and sales management so the clients can be classified, customized programs can be generated, and the cost of retaining customers buying can be minimized compared to more traditional method. Second financial analysis is vertical analysis. Vertical analysis is a type of financial statement analysis in which each item in the financial statement is shown as a percentage of the base amount. Vertical analysis examines Adventa Berhad's statement of financial position, where all items in the statement are displayed as a proportion of total assets. Based on this analysis, in 2020, the company had negative return earnings of total assets of 3.11%. This reveals how negative return earnings can prevent a company from purchasing assets from earnings to expand its business. It is risky because it will require the company to purchase assets through equity or debt financing. Moreover, this analysis also implies a drop in debt to asset ratio from 31.17% to 33.17% in 2020. Since the debt to asset ratio is less than 100%, it reveals that the company has more assets than liabilities. It benefits the company because it has more assets to meet its obligations during the COVID-19 crisis. The vertical analysis examines Advanta Berhad's statement of comprehensive income, where all items in this statement are displayed as a proportion of sales. According to this analysis, Advanta Berhad has reported net loss for both years. Even though the company incurred a net loss in 2020 as a result of economic downturn caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, this is favorable because the company obtained a tax credit which minimizes the actual tax liabilities of the company. The third financial analysis is financial ratio analysis. Financial ratio analysis compare relationship between financial statement accounts to identify the strengths and weaknesses of a company. There are 8 financial ratios used to evaluate Advanta Berhad's profitability, liquidity, and solvency. First ratio is current ratio. The current ratio has been calculated for the year 2018 to 2020. Based on the graph, indicates that the current ratio of Advanta Berhad increased from 2018 to 2019. Since the current ratio was greater than 1 in both years, it indicates that the company is expanding into its liability to meet its short-term obligations. However, there is a decrease in current ratio from 2019 to 2020. Even though the company's current assets decreased from 2019 to 2020, it was able to pay its short-term liabilities because the company's current liabilities also decreased from 2019 to 2020. Second ratio is total asset turnover. The total asset turnover ratio has been calculated for the year 2018 to 2020. The graph shows that the total asset turnover of Advanta Berhad decreased from 2018 to 2019. The total asset turnover could indicate that the company is experiencing a downturn in business with revenues dropping drastically in 2018. The reason for the drop in sales could be because the company's competitor in the healthcare industry are manufacturing better products, while the total asset turnover increased significantly from the year 2019 to 2020. This implies that the company was generating more sales revenues by using its assets efficiently. The third financial ratio is debt to asset ratio. The debt to asset ratio has been calculated for the year 2018 to 2020. The graph shows that the debt to asset ratio decreased from 2018 to 2019, with both ratios being lower than 1. This implies that the company has greater assets than liabilities and, if necessary, can pay its liabilities by selling its assets. Therefore, the lower the debt to asset ratio, the lower the company's risk of loan default. On the other hand, the debt to asset ratio increased significantly from 2019 to 2020, reaching more than 1 in 2020. This demonstrates that the company's liability exceeds its assets. The high debt to asset ratio indicates that the company is heavily indebted and therefore risky to invest in by potential investors. Fourth financial ratio is debt to equity ratio. The debt to equity ratio has been calculated for the year 2018 to 2020. The graph depicts that the debt to equity ratio of Advanta Berhad decreased from 2018 to 2019, with both ratios being lower than 1. This implies that the proportion of assets provided by investors exceeds the proportion of asset provided by lender. The lower the debt to equity ratio indicates the greater cash flow protection because it reduces the interest on loan paid from profitability. Therefore, it requires a lower risk of insolvency for shareholders in the case of an economic crisis. However, the ratio decreased from 2018 to 2020. This implies that the company was financing a significant portion of its future expansion through borrowing, which is considered risky for investors and lenders to invest in the company. The fifth financial ratio is net profit margin. The net profit margin has been calculated for the year 2018 to 2020. The graph shows that the net profit margin of Advanta Berhad increased from the year 2018 to 2019. This increase of net profit margin implies that the company has competitive advantage. This is because the company has increased its revenue by selling more healthcare products and services with affordable prices compared to its rivals. However, the net profit margin decreased from the year 2019 to 2020 and the margin was negative in 2020. This implies that the company was spending more its sales revenue to cover its cost of producing or selling the healthcare products and services. This is because it would experience economic downturn in the healthcare industry due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The sixth financial ratio is return on asset. The return on asset has been calculated for the year 2018 to 2020. The graph depicts that the return on asset of Advanta Berhad increased from the year 2018 to 2019. This implies that the company was generating more profits by investing into assets efficiently. This is beneficial for the company because the investors anticipate that good management will aspire to boost the return on asset in order to make more money from every ringgit Malaysia invested in assets at its disposal. Therefore, this would increase the potential investment. However, the return on asset decreased from the year 2019 to 2020 and the ratio was negative in 2020. When it is profitable, a negative return on asset indicates that the company is unable to efficiently utilize its assets to generate earnings and making it unfavorable investment prospect at this time. Seventh financial ratio is return on equity. The return on equity has been calculated for the year 2018 to 2020. Based on the graph, the return on equity of Advanta Berhad increased from the year 2018 to 2020. This indicates that the company was generating its earnings without requiring as much capital as well as the company was utilizing its shareholders' capital efficiently. Therefore, the investors benefited from the high return on equity since they were more capable of earning a high return on investment from the company's profit. On the other hand, the return on equity decreased from year 2019 to 2020 and the ratio was negative in 2020. This is probably a poor indication for investors and management will undertake whatever they can minimize a negative return. Therefore, many shareholders will stop investing in this company since it does not frequently provide favorable returns for them. The last financial ratio is earning per share. The earning per share has been calculated for the year 2018 to 2020. The graph depicts that the earning per share for Advanta Berhad increased from the year 2018 to 2019. This shows that the company was more profitable enough to pay out more money to its shareholders. Therefore, the company might increase its dividend as earnings increase over time. However, the earning per share decreased from the year 2019 to 2020 and the ratio was negative in 2020. When the company's earnings were negative, earning per share might be negative, indicating that the company was losing a lot of revenue and spending more than its income. Therefore, the negative earning per share implies how much profit the company lost per ordinary share. Now, I will pass it to the next presenter.
I'm going to presenting about SWOT analysis. Okay, SWOT stand for strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threat. Okay, strength, supply chain management, experienced top management, sales, manufacturing supply, R&D oriented product, environmental friendly, leader in industry, and product promotions. Okay, for weakness, we have income performance, manufacturing cost control, and also profit return to stakeholder. Okay, for opportunities, we have new medical trends and industry preference for fast delivery and low inventory. Second, we have developed new partners of cooperation for healthcare and other healthcare service provider. Technology and information driven growth business, and then a transformation in the population of sample or requirement. Okay, for threat, we have economic movement during COVID-19, competitors in healthcare supplier activity, global material shipping capacity shortage, and then adverse government policies. Strength. Okay, first, supply chain management. Okay, Adventa Berhad is known as one of the successful companies in the health industry for manufacturing and supplying health equipment. The demand for their product increased from time to time, especially during the pandemic COVID-19. Since health equipment such as gloves and masks is the most important for people, including the public. Okay, however, Adventa Berhad is already proved that they are one step ahead of their competitors to always fulfilling their customer demand, whether business to business, B2B, or business to customer, B2C. Transaction because they have a strong supply chain. As we already know, that Adventa Berhad has about 8 sub-companies that have retailed their product to maximize the sale of company. Okay, the second strength is experience top management. Okay, the list of board director of Adventa Berhad has introduced us to each person responsible for management in the company. From the background of their education and experience in their expertise, we have already been informed that they are well experienced in managing and directing Adventa Berhad. Every achievement made by Adventa Berhad came from the excellent decision making from their experienced top management that know well how to manage their company. Okay. The third strength is self-manufacturing supply. Adventa Berhad particularly in each activity that has done by their company, and one of it is the way they manufacture their product. The decision for self-manufacturing supply for their product is Adventa Berhad's strength, since this will lower their cost than using other suppliers. In addition, self-manufacturing supply also reduce the supply interruption, which means that every transaction will be one time as Adventa Berhad plans. Okay. Second, fourth is R&D oriented product. An innovation product in an advantage for a company since it can offer more function and benefits to the customer. Adventa Berhad was known as the company that doing R&D oriented product to find the more and upgrade benefit of the product. The product that has innovations will make people more interested in buying and trying the product, and this means that having R&D oriented product is another strength for Adventa Berhad. Okay, next is environmental friendly, also strength for Adventa Berhad. Manufacturer product tend to destroy nature such as air pollution, water pollution, or more. However, Adventa Berhad is one of the companies that have a strength known as environmental friendly. They have already stated to change every business activity to reduce nature pollution. For example, Adventa Berhad began to use more paper product than plastic for their packaging. Also, Adventa Berhad self-manufacturing their product, so there will be no using of the vehicle for shipping their product. It will reduce the air pollution since the lower shipping activity was happening. And then the leader in industry. Okay, in the health industry, Adventa Berhad is one of the stable company with a good reputation. That makes Adventa Berhad become a leader in customer. Having a good have a good reputation in the sector is the strength of Adventa Berhad to keep success and achieve a good performance in the future. So, to keep their position as a leader in manufacturing health equipment in healthcare sector. The last strength is product promotion. Okay, Adventa Berhad is the company that manufactures the tangible product that can easily be measured quality by customer. That is why Adventa Berhad serve a good quality product to their customer, which was their strength. The excellent product quality offered by Adventa Berhad is the best product promotion, since the main benefit customer want are from the product itself. The weakness of Adventa Berhad is income performance. Okay, firstly, the weakness of Adventa Berhad are when the company need to pay the higher price for government tax in the last 2 years. Tax from government is the cost that Adventa Berhad should pay and will decrease their profit, and it will give a bad image for the investor or possible investor in future. And then the second weakness is manufacturing cost control. As the largest and the most significant manufacturing company, Adventa Berhad had a high cost to control and succeed each product. Starting from the cost of raw material until the fixed cost, example as employee salary. Every activities of Adventa Berhad will increase the manufacturing cost, which was a weakness of the Adventa Berhad company. Profit return to stakeholder. Okay, the first references of stakeholder for a company to measure the achievement and performance is by using their financial report. Okay, the decrease of Adventa Berhad profit because of the government tax and manufacturing cost will give a bad review to stakeholders. That statement is that when of the profit Adventa decrease, it means that the profit return to the stakeholder is decreased too. It will make stakeholder love their interest to stay in Adventa Berhad. Okay, next is SO strategies. Okay, SO strategies means launch a seminar to improve skill of employment. There was strength 2 and opportunities number 4. Okay, and the second one is get an advanced technology to grow the company, and that was strength number 4 and opportunities number 3. And then expanding the line of sub company to lead the industry. Okay, that was a strength number 6 and opportunities number 2. Okay, next is WO strategies. Upgrading human resource department to have a good customer service. That was between weakness number 1 and opportunities number 2. And then offer benefit, better benefit to stakeholder. That was between weakness number 3 and opportunities number 2. And then trying new technologies in order for expanding performance of company. That was weakness number 2 and opportunities number 3.
Moving to the opportunity and threat. The first opportunity that we have identified from the Adventa Berhad is new medical trend and industry preference for fast delivery and low inventory. COVID-19 pandemic has been raging over the past 2 years, placing pressure on individuals all around the world, including Malaysia. Adventa Berhad has learned from the crisis. The company has adopted to discontinue business division with the extended gestation periods in order to focus on emerging medical trends and the industry need for quick delivery and minimum inventory. The second opportunity that we have identified is develop new partners of cooperation for healthcare and other healthcare service providers. As pandemic COVID-19 gives significant influence on the healthcare sector and industry, many healthcare companies are looking for partnership to help them deliver medical tools, equipment, and supplies in order to fulfill the market high demand. This is an opportunity for Adventa Berhad, who has the expertise of cooperating with the healthcare center in supply the medical supplies. And the third opportunity is the technology and information driven groups businesses. During the COVID-19 issue, many industries are attempting to develop new methods in order to meet market demand. More focus will be placed on technology in the healthcare business to treat patients and assist with the arrival of new COVID patients. To lessen the risk of supply disruption, Adventa Berhad had implemented self-manufacturing. Furthermore, as their philosophy and culture underlie their product aims, Adventa also developed R&D that encompasses energy-saving procedure and product design. And lastly, transformation in the population of sample or a requirement. When a pandemic strikes, everyone is at risk of being infected, including adults, teenagers, and children. As a result, healthcare business must be aware of the circumstances and surroundings in order to meet market demand. Adventa Berhad has taken advantage of the opportunity by building a strategy that is founded on our belief of providing value and quality in everything we do. As a result, consumer loyalty is also critical for them to stay in businesses. Second is threats. The first threat that we have identified related with the Advanta Berhad is first economic movement during COVID-19. The pandemic has a severe economic impact. No business or industry is allowed to operate during the outbreak since they may become sick and disseminate the virus widely without being identified. Because running an operation that does not offer a profit to the company just adds to the weight of the supporting the activity cost, the company has decided to withdraw one of its divisions in order to focus more on the segment that exhibit good market development. Second threat is competitors in healthcare suppliers activity. Competitor is one of the most common risks that must be dealt with in business because competition can assist determine a company's capacity to continue to survive and exist in the market. Advanta Berhad competitors will be such Careplus, Group Berhad, LKL, International Berhad, Top Grow and so on. Advanta Berhad will have to struggle and innovate to compete in the same industry as a result of this competition. The third threat is a global material shipping capacity shortage. Due to the global lockdown, firm in another country may have difficulty transporting and sending goods, and the chances of the material arriving in time to fulfill the high demand during the epidemic will be low. At the Advanta station, they will pose a significant threat to their ability to continue supplies to all hospitals, clinics, and other facilities. And last threat is adverse government policy. The most crucial item to consider is government policy and law in order to avoid wrongdoing during business operation. The Ministry of Health Malaysia MOH is responsible for assisting people in attaining and maintaining a level of health that allow them to live a productive economic and social life in Malaysia. Advanta organization is committed to following the laws and regulations issued by democratically elected government, and they refuse to join in any political, philosophical or religious activity or movement affiliated with any specific group, country or territory. Now let's move to the TOS analysis, where the analysis is related to the SWOT analysis. This TOS analysis is when we combine the two element each of the SWOT analysis to create the strategy. So we have the SO strategy where the combination of the strength and opportunity, and the WO strategy is the weaknesses and opportunity. SC strategy is for the strength and threat strategy, and lastly we have WP strategy for the weaknesses and threat strategy. Now I will explain the combination of those analysis as related to my part, which is I will explain for the ST strategy and WP strategy. So first is for the strength and threat strategy. We identify the strategy that we can implement, which is first we implement financial strategy for the strength number 7, strength 6, and threat number 1. So financial planning are crucial, especially for large corporations, because they must account for earnings in order to make a profit for their shareholders. When a corporation implements a financial plan, it must assist the company in predicting future unpredictability that could threaten the company operation. Second is we increase the number of supply production in the local area, related with the strength number 1, strength number 3, and the threat number 3. Healthcare facility have a major impact on medical equipment and supply vendor. Many medical product manufactured in the country require material manufactured in other countries. As a result, when a pandemic strikes, the company will suffer the consequences because the shipping process and activities for material manufacture may be slow and not enough material can be shipped to meet company demand. So move to the WT, which is the weaknesses and threat strategy. So we have identified the strategy that the Adventure Berhad can implement, which is by make strategic decision that maximize predicting value, even if meant sacrificing distant profit. In terms of profit generation, one of the corporation purpose is to maximize shareholder profit. Therefore, Adventure Berhad should make a unique strategy option that optimize predicting value, even if meant sacrifice future income. Next is the external factor analysis summary (EFAS). So this EFAS is a summary for the external factor that we have identified from the SWOT analysis. Now let's see the summary of the point for the opportunity and threat. So first is the new medical trend and industry preference for fast delivery and low inventory. The weight is 0.2, the rating we give 4, and the weightage score is 0.8, and the comment is aligned to meet pandemic driver need. Means that the Adventure Berhad already give the best and the opportunity that can Adventure take itself for improve their performance. Second is the develop new partner of cooperation for healthcare and other healthcare service provider. The weight is 0.05, the rating is 3.9, and the weighted score is 0.2. So the comment is when during the pandemic strike, so there is a lot other company that involved entry the share market, so they can generate more profit from the developing the new partner. And second is focus on technology and information driven groups business. So the weight is 0.1, the rating is 4.5, and the weighted score is 0.45. So our comment is due to the changes of the technology, the Adventure company can take its opportunity by involve and focus to the technology itself in producing more supplier for their customer. And then lastly is a transformation in the population sample or a requirement. So the weight is 0.1, the rating is 3.0, and the weighted is 0.3. So our comment is by the Adventure Berhad can produce more product that is more convenient to a customer. And next we move to the threat. The first is economic movement during COVID-19. So the weight is 0.1, the rating is 4.3, and the weight score is 0.43. So our comment is the already well positioned, which they give the best strategy to facing the threat during the pandemic. And then second is the competitors in healthcare supply activity. So the weight is 0.05, the rating is 4.0, and the weight score is 0.2. So our comment is a high existing computer, especially during the pandemic happen. So there might lots of other companies that try to exist and trend the market. And third is the global material shipping shortage, capacity shortage. The weight we give 0.2, the rating is 3.0, and the weight score is 0.6. So what the company should do is they need to improve their supply chain by instead of import their material, what they should produce their own material, find their local material. And lastly, the adverse government policy. The weight is 0.1, rating is 1.5, and the weighted score is 0.15. So we comment as a well position as related with the government regulation and the guidelines. And lastly is the strategic factor analysis summary as FAS. As FAS is the summary for the combination of IFAS and EFAS that we can take as the final points of the strategic factors that the company should take more focus in generating their best plan and strategy for their business operation. So that's all from me.
So for internal factors analysis summary, we have found 7 strengths in Adventa Berhad and 3 areas that Adventa possesses weaknesses. So for the strengths, the company has a strong supply chain management, and also the company possesses an experienced top management and board of directors with average tenure of ownership with 17.5 years. Also, the company possesses a self-manufacturing supply, which can reduce risk of supply interruptions in future with an R&D oriented products, which it can give a strong growth on innovative products. And the company also have an environmentally friendly that can minimizing the environmental issues. And also, on top of that, the company had been the leader in industry, specifically in the glove makers company, and in fact it will give a strong reputation in healthcare industry, and also the product promotion, which the company serve only quality products to the client. So for the weaknesses, we have found that Aventa Berhad have weaknesses in certain area, including income performance, manufacturing cost control, and profit return to stakeholders. Income performance, in terms of income performance, the company had loss after tax for 2 years straight, and the manufacturing cost control increased, and also profit return to stakeholders have been low in the equity return.
Hi, it's me again, Arina. So there are 6 recommended strategy that we found. The first 2 strategy will be explained by me, and the remaining strategy will be explained by Matu Tarani. So the first strategy is for the company to implement efficacious purchasing strategy. So purchasing strategy is used to deal with the obtaining process of company's raw material, supply and pipe. So there are 3 types of purchasing strategy. The first one is multiple sourcing, second sole sourcing, and the last one parallel sourcing. So multiple sourcing is when the company order their certain material supply from several supplier, while sole sourcing is when company relies on a single supplier. And the last one is parallel sourcing, is when a company has 2 supplier for a type of material. As we know, Aventa faced supply disruption that was rooting from the shortage capacity of the global material supply. So, the recommended purchasing strategy for Aventa is multiple sourcing. In example, if supplier A cannot supply the material, Adventa has many other options of supplier that they can use to obtain the material, so they will not face a shortage in material supply anymore. So the benefit of having multiple sourcing as the purchasing strategy is the company can gain competitive advantage because they have good supplier relationship with the supplier. Second, supplier can help them in addressing their material supply issues as the supplier has more knowledge on the material supply to the company. The second strategy is to enhance the research and development strategy. So R&D strategy helps company in dealing with improvement and innovation of product and process in the business operation. So there are three types of R&D development strategy. The first one is technological leader. This type of strategy explain that a company is pioneering an innovation. The second type of strategy is technological power. This type of R&D strategy is a method where the company is imitating others such as their competitors. And the last strategy is open innovation. So this type of R&D strategy is when company use alliance and relationship with industry, competitors, government, academic laboratory and customer to make an R&D. So the recommended R&D strategy for the company is by using open innovation. The benefit that they will get is they can enlarge their network and develop new partner of cooperation for healthcare and other healthcare service providers. Besides, they also can increase their efficiency and effectiveness in the research and development process. So I'll pass the presentation to my partner, Matu Tarani, to present the next recommended strategy.
Now I will continue to the part strategic recommended solution. The third strategic recommended solution is implement cost reduction strategy. Since Advanta Berhad incurred a significant amount for manufacturing costs, Advanta Berhad should implement a cost reduction strategy to lower its production costs. These cost-cutting initiatives will reduce operating expenses while also increasing productivity, allowing for strategic resources redeployment. Therefore, Advanta Berhad could implement the cost reduction strategy by cutting overhead costs in manufacturing. For example, by putting effective accounting software into the system, the corporation can keep track of running expenses. Therefore, the management would be familiar with the ins and outs of the items like maintenance, procurement, warehousing, utilities, and managerial and operational charges. Following the discovery, the management should put a budget in place. Therefore, they could consider whether to buy or rent in order to save money. This will help the company save a lot of money on overhead. What strategic recommended solution is implement financial strategies. Advanta Berhad should implement financial strategy, especially financial planning during and after COVID-19 pandemic. It is because from the planning the company can be ready for the consequences that might face by the company when the economy and the health of the people in the country become worse and hard to be controlled with a short-term financing. As we are aware, the occurrence of the pandemic take a long time to recover and it is hard to settle in a short time. Therefore, during that time, there are so many issues that might incur. For example, the demand for medical supplies increases because many people get affected. PPE suit used by the medical assistant and other equipment needed in treating the patients. By implementing the financial strategy, it can help the company to predict the uncertainty in the future that going risk the operation of the company. The fifth strategic recommended solution is increase the number of supply production in the local area. Since many medical products produced in the country need the material production from other countries, then the company must suffer the consequences when the pandemic strikes because during the pandemic the shipping processes and activities for material manufacture might be slowed and not many materials can be shipped to meet company demand. Therefore, Advanta Berhad should increase their supplies production in local areas so that they do not have to bear the burden of supply shortage and end up inability to produce the healthcare products for the market in order to meet the high demand for the product while also tackling the weaknesses and threats of a lack of supply and limited supply capacity for global production. The last strategic recommended solution is to make strategic decisions that maximize predicted value even if it means sacrificing distant profits. The weakness that faced by Advanta Berhad is to generate profit return to the shareholders of the company because of not have enough resources and back in the financial performances for other years of financial reports. If the company is unable to make profit, it will set a negative expectation in the eyes of investors because the company is losing money and is unable to generate profits effectively. Even if it means sacrificing future revenues, Advanta Berhad should make a distinctive strategic decisions that maximize expected value. This is because when it is time to pay the dividend to all shareholders, the corporations make a prompt decision due to the fact that the payment of dividend is fixed for certain shares offered. Furthermore, all members of the organization should agree on the decision-making process to avoid disagreement between the board of directors and management. That's all from me. Thank you. Now I will pass it to the next presenter.
So last but not least, we go to the conclusion part. So the highlight issues face the Advanta Berhad are the supply chains that have been affected because of the shortage of supply due outbreak, and products like surgery-related products shows drop in sales as the demand for PPE and masks are high. So we use a steep analysis and Porter's 5 forces to analyze and assess the several aspects including sociocultural, technological, economic, ecological, and political legal forces aspects for the better understanding the external forces around Advanta Berhad influence in decision-making process in present. So for the internal forces aspects, we include the company's vision, mission, and objective, and we see that the company's vision, mission, and objective are aligned with the company's strategies as the company's long-term goal to be the market leader in the healthcare industry, where the significant issue regarding COVID-19 are being highlighted in Annual Report 2020. So through financial analysis, we found some impressive growth and statistical decline in several items through horizontal and vertical analysis on statement of comprehensive income and statement of financial position for 2020. Besides, we also use a ratio analysis for in-depth analysis in Advanta financial performance to focus on which area of financial indicator that the company has strengths and weaknesses. So in SWOT and TOWS analysis, we found that the company internal strength in production and management area, meanwhile the internal weaknesses in financial performance area. For the external opportunities, Advanta Berhad has built new connection in healthcare industry to develop new strategy. Thus, the external threat to Advanta is the restriction of economic movement by the company. So for recommended solutions, we suggest several suggestions including implementing efficacious purchasing strategies, enhance the R&D strategy, strengthen the risk management and business policy, mitigate the price war strategy in the healthcare industry, and increase the number of supply productions in the local area. So we focus on the weaknesses and threats that Advanta currently face and may face in the future to prevent further occurrence that affected the business.